It has all come full circle for Nick Foles and Tony Romo. You see, both of these guys are going to be in Atlanta on February 3rd, and it's going to be the closest that this guy ever gets to a Super Bowl. James Worthington is here. I am Adrian Fedke. You see, before we get to Atlanta, we got to take care of some business in Chicago first.
Yes, we do. And what an intro that was, man. That was awesome because everyone hates Tony Romo. But yeah, man, to get there and to do it, have this magical run again, we're going to have to get by Chicago. And I personally think a lot of Eagles fans are kind of overlooking them a little bit. I like the matchup. I feel good about the matchup. But people forget the Bears are one hell of a football team this year. They went 12-4. Their defense is the best in the league. It's not going to be an easy game, especially not in Chicago. So, I feel good. I think we're going to be competitive. It'll be a close game. But, I'm hearing some people saying we're going to blow them out. And I think that's just crazy.
Yeah. I feel like there's been some overlooking on both sides because I'm getting Bears fans. They're coming in the comment section. They're telling us that they're going to blow us out.
So, yeah, I mean, and what they've seen this year based on what they've seen this year based on what this team's done. You would think the Bears would blow us out, but if you look at the last 6 weeks, we're 5-1. We should be 6-0 because we got hosed by the refs. But I mean, we've got Nick Foles playing good. The team's playing a lot better, and they're starting to look like that team we saw last year. So, I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a close game. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the polls. I think fans voted us like 23% to win over the Bears. It was like a national poll. Like the odds, I'm sure you've seen, were the farthest odds to win the Super Bowl again. So. We're back in that underdog role, but yeah, I agree. I think both sides there's a little bit of overlooking.
I mean, it's eerie. It's happening again.
Yeah.
ESPN said that the Eagles were the worst playoff team that's in the field. They're a 6-point underdog. Everyone's counting them out. It's ski mask season, baby.
Yeah. The only difference this year is we're gonna have to go on the road for all the games. Where last year we had the link, which was nice.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though. From weeks 12 to 17, this Eagles team's pretty much on fire. They're third in the league in scoring. So the offense, which has been such a problem all season long, is all of a sudden clicking. And then the defense is clicking. They've got 13 sacks in their final 4 games. That's 3.25 sacks a game. You know how many Kansas City and Pittsburgh averages? 3.25 a game. They led the NFL. So everything is starting to come together. Literally at the right time.
Yeah, and I still have faith in both lines, offensive and defensive. Obviously, the defensive line you just said has been playing a lot better, but the offensive line has too. Lane Johnson looks healthy finally, which is awesome.
Yes.
He's been playing a lot better, which is huge. Brooks has been solid all year. Obviously, Kelsey was just named All-Pro. I'm a little eerie with the whole switching to St. Molly win. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Liz in there early on in the game because that's what's been playing. Like that's where the chemistry is at. Like with Newski in there, the offensive line just seems to work better as a unit. And then I mean Jason Peters, we can get into him later. I'm a little nervous about him with Khalil Mack, which we'll talk about. But I mean they've been there, they've done it. It's grind time. So I think they're going to step up, and that's where I think we're going to win the game. Obviously, it's where what I say every week, got to win the line of scrimmage because we win football games. But I have confidence in both units.
Yeah, I definitely agree about the game being won in the trenches, and something else that I've kind of brought up this week. When you get the ball out quick against Chicago, that's the recipe to beat them. So if you get the ball out in 2.5 seconds or less, they allow 23.5 points per game as opposed to 15.8 when you don't get it out in 2.5 or less. So it's kind of like the Eagles defense. I mean, same kind of recipe here. They bring their front seven. They've got a lot of pass rushers. They got a lot of depth. And, like last year, they get a lot of turnovers. Turnovers not happening for the Eagles this year, but they were happening last year. So kind of the same recipe here. And like we saw with the Eagles in the past, I mean, when you got a guy that gets the ball out quick, that's how you can move the ball on the defense.
Definitely. And I mean, I think if we put up 23 points against this team, I would say that's enough to win the game. That's the way I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I would be happy with it, especially if we're getting the ball out quick, we're moving, it gets us in rhythm. It gets Nick Foles in an early rhythm, which I think is very important. And then, I think we can work kind of like the inside of the field between the seams. I think, we could use Sproles out of the backfield, Tate Aguilar in the slot. It's kind of what the Patriots did a little bit, if I remember correctly, when they beat them. I think it was like 38-31 or something. I don't remember the score. But I think that there's definitely some areas there to take advantage of. And it's important to get Foles in a rhythm early. I do, though, want to see them try to push it down the field a little bit because I think Alshon's going to be crazy good this game. I think he's going to be ready to go, man, because he seems like a guy. He gets up for big games, and this is the Bears. This is his old team, so.
And he's going against Kyle Fuller, who's got a 3-inch mismatch against. So you want to talk
That's huge.
Yeah, you want to talk about, being able to put the ball up for Alshon to go get. You should be able to do this pretty much for the majority of the game if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And he's been pushing it down the field to him pretty much every game lately. Alshon's had, I think, his last like 3 games, he's pretty much been going off. So it's been nice to see. I think that momentum's going to continue. I mean, we have weapons all over the field, really. So, and we just got to basically find where we can, find some mismatches and take advantage of them. And I did hear this week, like a couple times with people on the radio, that like reporters, not just fans, obviously. The rumor is like the Eagles players and coaches are very confident in the game plan they have going into Chicago. I mean, obviously you're not going to say you're not confident, but that's a good sign. If they feel good about their game plan, if this coaching staff has something, schemed up, that makes me happy. I trust them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You brought up a point too about attacking the slot position. Their starting slot corner is out. He's broke his foot back in early December, Bryce Callahan. So they've got a guy named Sherrick McManus who's manning the slot position. I made this point in one of my videos. A lot of Bears fans, they got, a little offended by that. They're like, oh, Sherrick McManus, he's a good slot cornerback. All right, well, you got to go up against Golden Tate and Nelson Aguilar, so good luck.
Yeah, they're good slot receivers. So especially Tate, obviously. I mean, we've been underutilized, but he's still a hell of a receiver when he's on the field. Excuse me. I'm just looking at their depth chart here too. I mean, they have talent on all 3 levels. Like this Eddie Jackson and Adrian Amos, they're good. Fuller's, they got Leonard Floyd, Trevathan, Roquan Smith. I feel like he's kind of been overshadowed by Darius Leonard. He's had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
And obviously, they've got all those boys up front that are great. I mean, it's going to be a slugfest, man, because these 2 defenses, they're very built. They're built similarly. They have talent everywhere. I mean, their corners are a little better than ours, obviously. But besides that, I mean, dude, it's going to be – I think it's going to be like an old school, old-fashioned, almost like an NFC East brawl is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they are just absolutely stacked at all levels. They really are. And I'm worried about, anyone that's going to go up against Daaaaaaa because Daaaaaaa is not good in pass protection. And I am just a little bit baffled by this decision. I don't know if they want to try and take on the Bears power with Daaaaaaa in the run game. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the logic behind this. Because Wiz has been great since he's come back, and the line was doing really well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm the same way, man. Like when I saw that, I scratched my head. I was like, most of the time you don't shake things up when you're on a roll like this. Obviously, in the running game, he's not bad. He's good, but his feet are so slow in pass protection. Like I've seen him get beat so much. Wisniewski he fits better. It's very, very baffling to me. I think it's a bad decision, and like I said, I would not be surprised to see Wiz in there second. Because you can't take any chances. If Daaaaaaa gets beat and Foles gets hurt, well, you're stuck with Sudfeld because Wentz ain't dressing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So one of the things that the Bears have been doing recently that's kind of aided them with their offense, they're running the ball more. Jordan Howard has over 200 yards in his last 3 games. He's got 4 touchdowns on the ground. So I'm curious to see how this run defense comes out because all season long, I think it was 4.7 yards per carry they allowed on the year. But this run defense, again, it's like just like the pass rush, just like the offense, it's all coming together at the right time. Run defense. Last week, Adrian Peterson, 4 carries, 0 yards, nothing.
Exactly.
So, yeah. We remember what happened last year against the Bears when they tried to run the ball. Nothing. 7 carries for 6 yards for Jordan Howard. So the Bears fans are like clamoring. They're kind of like us, like, hey, yeah, we got to run the ball more. I hope they run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, if they run the ball, and we're able to stop them, or we're able to put some points up offensively. I mean, it puts them behind the eight ball right away.
Yeah,
And if they try to run the football, I mean, they have some good interior linemen, but I'll take our guys over anyone. I mean, Jernigan's been playing, which is huge to get him back in the rotation.
He looked great.
Yeah, he looks really good. Fletcher's been eating. I mean, dude, he's been absolutely killing people this last month. It's been awesome to see. He earned that big contract this year for sure. And I mean, our DNs are awesome. They're all. I mean, they're all pretty much. They're veterans. They're good players. I mean, some of these guys could be starters on other teams that are rotating in. I'd take our D line over anyone. I mean, I'd still say they're the best in the league, even with our struggles this year, for sure. So if they're going to try and run the ball on us, I mean, I think the defense would invite that, just like you did. Come try and out physical us. Come try and pound it down our thirds. They're going to shut you right down, get the ball back, and put it in Nicky Six's hands. Go down the field and put a touchdown up there.
Yeah, because running the ball, keeping that balance, that's making me think, all right, they're going to run the ball a little bit on first and second down. You run the ball on first and second down and you fail. Well, all of a sudden you're in like 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8 with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
The way the defensive line's been going, getting the pressure.
Yeah.
You want that.
And it's an unexperienced team in the playoffs. If they're going a little more cautious and we're being aggressive, that always bodes well in the playoffs if you're willing to take shots. Obviously, we saw it last year with their Super Bowl run. If you're not aggressive, like kind of like the Jaguars were against the Patriots, you usually don't win. That usually comes back to bite you. And like you said, 3rd and long with Trubisky, man, they'll be licking their chops. And the only thing that worries me is his scrambling ability, but I'm sure we'll have something in scheme for that, whether we're going to just have someone shadow him or whatever. But that's the only thing that worries me. But, as long as we get pressure up the middle, too, like Fletcher Cox with his, as you always say, deep penetration, that kind of negates it right there if our DNs keep contained. So
Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
Deep penetration. See.
Playoff mode right there.
Yeah, I'm in playoff mode now, baby. So 6.5 sacks for him in his final 5 games. He leads the NFL in total pressures with 29 in the last month of the year. So you talked about it. He's really bringing the heat. And you talk about Trubisky. So there's a stat. There are 31 active NFL quarterbacks that have started a playoff game. And out of those 31 active quarterbacks, only 10 of them won their first start. Inexperience matters.
For sure. I mean, we hear it all the time. We see it all the time. Every year in the playoffs, it seems like the game kind of changes. It goes away. Even later in the year, we saw it this year with defenses starting to put up better numbers. Teams run the ball more, especially running backs. Saw it in people who play fantasy in the playoffs. They put up some big rushing numbers. The game changes when it gets colder, especially in the playoffs, man. It's more, if you make mistakes, that shit's going to come bite you in the ass pretty much. I mean, you can't play. You got to play mistake-free football. You got to control the clock, and you got to win the line of scrimmage. That's always how football's been won, and that's honestly how the playoffs still are. So that's the way it's going to be. That's the way it is.
Mistake-free football, controlling the clock. So you bring that up, and that makes me think of kind of back to my video that I made the other day. I'm not sure if you watched it or not, but I talked about the Bears defense, and I was kind of like, historically, they're not great. This defense isn't even better than the one last year in Minnesota, I don't think. They're allowing two points more than that Minnesota defense from last year. Here's the way this defense is, and here's the way the NFL is now. It's about red zone defense and taking the ball away. That's what a shutdown defense is now.
Yep.
And obviously, with the amount of turnovers that the Bears forced, 27 interceptions led the NFL. They had 6 defensive touchdowns. So not making mistakes and keeping the ball, that's how you win. But, easier said than done, because that's what the Bears have been doing all year is forcing turnovers. So that's what they do. But if if they're not forcing turnovers, you can move the ball on them, as evidenced by, the 23.5 points per game allowed in with quarterbacks that are getting the ball out in 2.5 seconds or less. Half of their games have come against bottom 11 offenses. So they've gone against a lot of bad quarterbacks. A lot of, it was Ryan Tannehill. They went against Josh Rosen. They went against freaking the Jets, Sam Darnold. They went against all these bottom feeders. But now you're getting Nick Foles. When Tom Brady went against them, 38 points. Jared Goff struggled. But that offense is more about deep play action. you're about getting the ball out more than 2.5 seconds. So with the Eagles and the Patriots, it's more about getting the ball out quicker, and that's the recipe for success against this team.
Yeah, and you said a lot of good things right there for sure. I didn't even realize how many like kind of bottom feeder teams the Bears had played, and even
What I
the
get
Rams.
paid for.
The Rams thing too, like they're more of like obviously a warm weather team, so they went into Chicago. It was cold. I think that also played into it a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Nick Foles, man, he protects the football, and Doug Peterson really he calls plays and shapes the offense in a way to really take advantage of that and take advantage of Nick's skill set, which, like you said, is getting the ball out quickly, making his reads, we'll run some RPOs or whatever. But that's what we do, man, with Nick Foles. He doesn't turn the ball over. So if we can play mistake free, if we got to punt a couple times early, he's not really trying to force the ball in tight windows. I'm fine with that. I want to be aggressive. Don't get me wrong, but I'm fine with that because, I mean, the Bears, they have some ball hawks back there. I mean, this guy, Eddie Jackson, is
He's
special.
Yeah.
he gets a pick. He might take it to the house. It's a good bet. He's going to take it at least close. So we got to keep it away from him, and he'll be back there lurking, man. So, like you said, it's about getting the ball out quickly, making your reads. We can establish some running game to help feed the RPO. Awesome, but that's really what it is. And like you said, you can move the ball on them. So that's the way the league is today. You're right. You're 100% right about that.
Yeah. So some more nuggets here on Nick Foles. Obviously, I got more nuggets than Burger King right now.
10 for a buck.
I got lines. 2.23 seconds per pass for Nick Foles since he's been the starter again at quarterback. So they're getting the ball out lightning quick. I also got numbers for him on third down since last year's postseason. You want to hear them? They're pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. I do.
Yeah, they're pretty good. 72 of 90, 874 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, quarterback rating of 135.8.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's absolutely unbelievable. You know what that tells me? Obviously, it's a testament to Nick Foles, but Wentz was so good on third down last year too. So yeah. Dougie P is dialing up the plays, man.
Getting it
Dougie
going.
P's dialing up the plays. So we were questioning him earlier in the year, and I know I haven't been on in a while, but I mean I really put a lot of that on Carson's injury and him pressing a little bit too much.
I agree.
Maybe Doug calling plays that he's not really opening up the offense completely. So I kind of chalk all that up. Like I'm saying, let's wait and see till next year for that. But everything else, I mean, it's right there. The offense is great on third down and in the red zone. And to me, like you just said, it's play calling, it's coaching. So
yeah. And just a quick quote here from Doug Peterson about the Bears defense and why they're so good at taking it away. So he goes, 1 is their pass rush. They are getting pressure on the quarterback, so the quarterback is having to either throw the ball early or the ball gets tipped or it causes a poor decision by the quarterback, and so their defenders are in position. They have a lot of eyes on the quarterback and a lot of eyes on the ball, and they are opportunistic that way, and they do a great job of stripping and sort of punching the ball out from running backs, and it's for them. It's turning into points. I believe it's 100 or 107-something points total, I think, in the NFL, first in the NFL. So a lot of respect for that. I know that they will man, easy for me to say in this fucking quote. I know that they will try to continue that. It's our job to make sure that ball security is a premium, obviously, in a game like this. So there you go. Just some quotes from Doug. And going back to that Patriots game, I think Darren Sproles can be an X factor potentially in this game. You look back at that one, James White, 8 receptions, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. They've been having trouble with running backs out of the backfield all year.
I like that. I like hearing that a lot. That sounds like Sproles could be in store for a good game. And honestly, he's the type of playmaker that they step up in playoff games. I mean, well, actually, when's the last time Darren Sproles has been in the playoffs? He's going to be ready to go, man. He's going to be excited.
So that's probably that Saints game from the
2013. So it's been a while, and with him going through everything he's been through with the injuries, he's going to be ready to go. So now I'm really confident. I think he's going to play well, and I think too, like what I was going through my head. I mean, I guess everybody can't play great and it be low scoring like I think it's going to be on offense, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more of an uptick with Golden Tate, man. Like we went out and traded for him. He's such a talent. To me, it just doesn't make sense with a coaching staff like this that he's just not getting utilized more unless they were saving it for the playoffs, which to me, I guess we were playing for our playoff lives, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But he's got to have a game, man. Like he's too good. This offense is too good cannot have him have at least one like huge game. I know he had the one with Foles in there.
Yeah. If there is a game to do it, it's this one. I mean,
Yeah, like you just said.
they don't have their slot corner. I mean, this is it. This is the game.
Exactly. And to me too, it's like I'm still frustrated. I just still don't understand how Aguilar can't play on the outside. To me, it just still does not make any sense. He's got the physical talent to do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Do you have any? Like I'm sure you've thought about this, looked at it. Like
he like I guess when you're on the outside, you have to deal with like bracket coverage more.
Yeah.
He's just not good with that. But I'll tell you what, he's been playing well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he has. Well, I mean, that's Nicky Six, man. He's getting the ball down the field, and yeah, Aguilar has looked a lot better.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, it's like I said, I think it's going to be low scoring. So not every guy on the Eagles offense can have a huge game, but someone's going to have a monster game. I think whether it's Alshon, Tate, Sproles, they've all going to have an opportunity.
If somebody's having a monster game, it's Alshon. I'm telling you right now, it's Alshon.
I mean, he's just got it in him to just flip that switch and just go nuts.
Yeah, he's making his return to Chicago. He made those quotes earlier this week. I love the city of Chicago. Chicago is just where I was for work. So he's salivating.
I love that quote. You know what it might be too? They'll feed him, and he'll have a huge like target volume and yardage, and you'll see like Sproles might make a big play late, like on a screen or something over the middle where he breaks a tackle and it really opens something up. So that's kind of what Sproles, like my memories of him as an Eagle. It's those timely, huge plays that he's always seems to be involved with somehow.
Yep. And then the numbers for Jeffrey in his last 3 games, 16 receptions, 301 yards. He's getting going here.
Yeah, I heard that stat earlier today. That's why I was like, the last 3 games, I know he's been going off. And yeah, I mean, Nick Foles, the one thing I will say about Nick is he does seem to him and Alshon have a little bit better of a chemistry. And I think it's because Carson never fully developed that trust in him to just throw it up there.
Yes.
Nick is that veteran. He's like, all right, well, I know Alshon, I know how good he is. I'm going to put it up there.
Yeah, you're 100% spot on about that. 100%. That's something that's a point I've made a lot too. So there you go. All right, one area where it's going to be tough, trying to run the ball on the Bears. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to have to try. 3.9 yards per carry on the season. That's 30th out of 32 teams for Philly. And then you look at Chicago, it's 3.8 yards per carry allowed. So, you're going up against something that's really beastly here. They're back to using the committee. Josh Adams kind of emerged as the lead dog for a few weeks, but, kind of came back to earth. They tried to run it up the middle and, kind of wasn't going anywhere. He had a good game last week, though. Wendell Smallwood has reemerged, I guess. They're running these, like, outside zones a little bit tighter, and he's running that a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just every time we talk about one, like, he disappeared, and he's just back.
And he's back. Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it, man. Him and, like we just said, him and Sam Aller, they honestly they're cats in the NFL. They got like 9 lives. I really don't get it.
I mean, obviously, like Corey Clement got hurt, but like,
yeah,
he just came right in and just like, getting all these touches again. But I've got a good feeling about Darren Sproles in this game, and I think it's going to be tough to run up the middle against Chicago. I don't think Josh Adams is going to do much of anything. You look at what they got in there. They got Akeem Hicks. You got Eddie Goldman. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Maybe you can run the outside zone with Wendell Smallwood. Maybe you get some sweeps going with Darren Sproles. That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Well, and they've been, if I remember correctly, like he's been getting some carries recently. Like someone said, oh, it's a huge giveaway if he's in there. It's going to be a passing play. Well, that's why not give him some carries early? I think he's still your most sure-handed ball carrier. Like he's Doug Peterson seems to trust him to not fumble in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they use him a little more in the run game, just to even set it up for later in the game. Like if he's in there in a passing situation, they still have to play it honestly.
Yeah. I want to talk about our secondary now. So let's get into the secondary. I know I haven't had you on a show in a while. So dude, I have the biggest crush on Avonte Maddox.
Oh man, yeah, I know. He's awesome.
Dude, like I'm talking future top 10 cornerback. That's how high on him I am on him right now. This dude is unbelievable. So when he went up against DeAndre Hopkins, they targeted him 7 times, 2 receptions for 24 yards on DeAndre Hopkins.
That's crazy.
That's just like unbelievable. He's
5'9", right?
5'9".
He's 5'9". That's it.
It's
That
not
makes it like 10 times more.
He's unbelievable.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, we got to steal with him. I think I told you this. Like, I'm not, I still think the jury's out on Sidney Jones, but Avonte Maddox might be what we drafted Sidney Jones to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which happens sometimes in the league, man.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Sidney Jones. I mean, we'll see about him. I know.
Yeah, my thing with him is, can he stay healthy? Like, some guys are just injury prone, and if he's on and off the field, he's not going to make it, which sucks because I think when he's been healthy, he looked good, and everybody remembers the Amari Cooper plays. Well, he was playing, he couldn't even freaking run. Like, he was playing, but he was hurt, so you got to give him a break there. Yeah, really, it has been a while. Now that I think about it, since I've been on here, and the year stuff with my actual job, which had to take care of that, but yeah, man. I mean, we've got lucky. Avonte Maddox came back and right at the perfect time, and he's been playing great. He's a steal, man. He's definitely a steal.
He honestly is the reason why I'm feeling so optimistic. Like he single-handedly is making me feel optimistic because before he was the corner, I mean, you remember that Saints game? It was Rasul Douglas, and what else they had? Nothing.
And Rasul needs safety help almost like every time.
Yeah. Well,
not the best in coverage.
It's funny though. So I was watching the tape back, and the first play of the game where he had an interception. Here's the difference between now and earlier on in the season in terms of the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That interception, he got beat. That receiver had a lot of separation. But you know what happened on that play? Immediate pressure from Fletcher Cox forced Josh Johnson to right.
Yep.
And because he scrambled to his right and he floated the ball, Rasul Douglas was able to catch up the makeup speed, undercut it, and get the pick. So that pick was caused by pressure. But earlier this season, that would have been a long completion.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we were taught, like, everybody was calling Ronald Darby trash, Jalen Mills trash. It was nothing about that. It was all about the pressure. Yeah. I told you guys all season long, you didn't listen to me, but now you are. So thank you.
Yeah, and 100%, man. You're right. Putting it that way, I remember exactly the player talking about, and you're 100% right. And that's always been the thing for our defense. We have to get pressure. I mean, unfortunately, the way the league goes anyway, I don't care how good you are in coverage. If you aren't getting pressure on the quarterback, you're going to allow completions. Yep. But two, especially with defense with inexperience at the cornerback level, I'm not going to say no talent because we just talked about how great Maddox is. And I think, Darby and Mills, and, we have some talent, but it's predicated on the defensive pressure. And if you're not going to get that, it's just we're going to give up big plays. It just is what it is. And going back to Maddox, man, I mean, they had him at safety. They had him as a nickel corner. Like, I just leave him on the outside. Just leave him out there. Yes. He's great. He's awesome. I mean, next year, depending on how things look, if Sidney Jones can get healthy, man, we might have Mills, Jones, and Avonte Maddox in there. And if they're all healthy and if Jones can step up, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And Matt, like you said, dude, Maddox, freaking beast. Like, absolute monster.
Dude, he's like –
everybody said that not one person has a bad thing to say about him either.
No.
Which is awesome.
I hated the pick. So that just shows how much I know.
That sometimes you really, you can scout these guys as much as you want, but until you see him play on a field in the NFL, you're never going to definitively know if it's going to work or not. Obviously, we have the generational talents, but for the most part, man, it's just you really don't know. Some guys mentally they just don't have it. Some guys are grinders and they're just better in game than in measurables. And Avonte Maddox is a gamer, so
I mean, if you go back and you watch the tape of Pitt. That dude got beat like every play. It's unbelievable. The transformation.
Crazy.
I was like, yeah, he's going to be a project this year. He's not going to play till next year. And then look at him. Like it can't predict sometimes. But I think what's helping him here is the off coverage because there's something that I've noticed when you watch him. When he plays tighter, you can beat him right off the line. But when he is in off coverage and he gets to kind of react. He's so quick and jittery and so quick with his feet. That's what helps. That's what's, really letting him excel. So he's just kind of keeping his eyes on the quarterback when he's in zone, using his athleticism, reading the eyes, and Jim Schwartz said he's Johnny on the spot. There's a reason for that. I mean, dude,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if that's how you got to play him, you got to play to his strengths. It's like honestly, almost like the opposite of Mills, where Mills you want to have him get physical and get his hands in there.
yeah.
It's like Maddox, yeah, you got to let him read and react. But if that's his strength, man, play to it. And I think they have been because he's looked so freaking good lately. And I'm still going back like DeAndre Hopkins against a 5'9" corner.
Yeah.
Had 2 receptions. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me.
I think it was something like he allowed 2 catches on the 7 targets, and then like all of DeAndre Hopkins' other 8 targets were caught.
Yeah, and he had a monster game. Like I remember the stat line.
Ripped apart Rasul Douglas.
Yeah, yeah, which is crazy because if you're just looking at it on paper, oh, Rasul's a taller guy, he's more physical with a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, but obviously Maddox got the job done. So
yeah,
gonna need it this weekend.
But hey, Rasul Douglas, man, he's playing well too. You gotta give him.
Yeah, well, and he's got great balls. I still think, I know everybody says it, but I still think he's a safety.
I agree. I agree.
It's like I don't know what they see in him.
Safety, let him patrol him and like keep his eyes on the quarterback, play the ball, and go get it.
Yeah, exactly. And like we have, I don't know if they'll bring back McLeod because I know we can save some money getting rid of him. But I mean, Malcolm Jenkins is a veteran. If we have someone in there, if it's Corey Graham or another vet, I'm sure they'll sign someone for depth. If you want to look at him as a starter, 1, you have an insurance policy in the veteran, and 2, you've got a good, safety cornerbacks room to kind of help him come along.
Yeah.
So even if it's just a 1-year kind of project thing where he's a backup and they convert him, I think you're getting more out of him than waiting till you're completely depleted in the cornerback position to put him on the field just to have him get burned.
Mm-hmm. And he's yeah. No, yeah.
He's a football player. He can hit too.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, as a safety, you got to tackle, and he's tackling tremendously.
He tackles very well.
He's tackling Jalen Mills. So there you go. All right. So we could talk about Mitchell Trubisky now. When he's actually had to play people, I forget what stat I saw this, but he's got like 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions against opponents when he's actually got to play somebody. So his stats aren't good against good teams. But here we go. 24-year-old UNC product. This is straight from my preview today. Had a quarterback rating of 120 or higher in 4 games in 2018. He threw for 3,223 yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 95.4. So 120 or higher in 4 games in 2018. I mean, at this point last year, he only threw over 200 yards 3 times. So big transformation. To be honest with you, I don't think Trubisky's that good. I think Trubisky is good because of Matt Nagy.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I wasn't huge on him when he came out of the draft and for the draft. Like, I saw something there. Like, I was like, maybe a team could, put some coaches around him and get something out of him. But I didn't see him as like this elite, like franchise changing quarterback. I think he's going to be a starter in the league for a long time, and he's athletic and he can do some things. But I agree with you. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he had a game with like 6 touchdown passes this year. So if he didn't have that game, his touchdown interception ratio is not that. It's already not that good, but it's even worse. Yeah. And you just said, when he's had to play people, he's like 5 TDs and 7 picks. So it really is, he's a young quarterback and he's still going to get better. But I agree with you. Matt Nagy is definitely the reason that offense has been better this year for sure. He's a hell of a coach. He's a good offensive mind. He's young. I think the Bears, they've got their guy there for their coach.
Yeah. That's obviously that Andy Reid, Kansas City tree.
Yep.
And, it's getting pretty popular right now with a lot of these younger coaches. We'll see. Eric Bieniemy now is all of a sudden becoming like a name. So, we'll see what happens in the offseason. Their receivers, Allen Robinson, I think he's going to play, I would think. It looks like Anthony Miller's going to play. He did something to his shoulder. I think, what did he do? He dislocated his shoulder last week?
I didn't hear about it, but I don't know. I haven't heard he's not going to play, but I actually haven't heard anything.
Yeah, it sounds like so. But like they're dealing with some injuries. They got Taylor Gabriel. I mean, their receivers are like okay, but nothing scary.
Yeah, well, it's crazy too because like Allen Robinson put up all those numbers in Jacksonville, and obviously he had the injury. But people were saying he might have a breakout year with the Bears, and he had some good games, but it's been pretty inconsistent. And you
Yep.
think, oh, going from Bortles to Trubisky, like with Matt Nagy's offense, he might, take advantage of his skill set a little more, but they haven't really been able to do it. Like you said, they were a lot of what they're doing. They like to run the football, and Tariq Cohen's had a hell of a year for him coming out of the backfield. But that just goes to show for me, it's like I haven't seen a lot of the Bears besides they're on national TV. That I don't really remember them really pushing the ball down the field a lot at all. And Allen Robinson is pretty good down the field, so and that's on, in my opinion, Mitchell Trubisky, like we just talked about. So I don't think, like we just said, he's pretty limited. I'm not too scared of them in the pass game besides Cohen. I think Cohen, I could see him hurting us.
Cohen legit.
Yeah, and Trey Burton, Eagles players always seem to kind of come back and bite us in the ass. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is a big player too. But Cohen's my biggest fear.
Trey Burton.
No, well, Cohen, but yeah, Trey Burton.
Or Cohen, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
He's been okay for them. He hasn't been great, but he's been pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, Cohen on like the third downs is, because they'll run that stupid picket fence and he'll get through it.
Yep,
because he's good.
That freaking don't even get me started about that. I hate that defense, man.
You're not the only one.
Like, I remember the first time I remember seeing it. We were in the stands. Told you this. Like, people were like, "What the hell? This is like what they do in high school." And I'm like, dude, don't even get me started.
All right. I guess we'll get to predictions. You got it.
All right.
You're gonna pick the Eagles, right?
Yeah. I think I made that pretty clear. And like I said as well, it's gonna be low scoring. I've tossed a couple scores around in my head. This one just seemed to stick. It's a little lower than I think, but I really think it's going to be a slugfest. I've got us winning 17-16.
Okay.
Whether I don't know how it's going to end. I think it's going to come down to one team with the ball in their hands, and Nicky Six is either going to take us down for a game-winning touchdown or field goal, or the Bears were going to get a stop, or they're going to miss a field goal. So I think it's going to come down to the last possession, and I think we're coming out with 1 point by 1 point of victory.
Well, I've also got a 1 point victory. All right, so in my Philly influencer prediction, I went 24-23, but now I'm kind of like you. I think it might be a little lower, like even going 20-19-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just keep 24-23. I'll just keep that. It's 23.5 points per game when they, you get the ball out quick. So I'm going to go with the 24 number, rounding up to 23.5. That's where the Eagles are going to go. I'm going to say that the Bears drive down the field on the final drive of the game, and Cody Parkey pushes wide right.
I knew you were going to go there when you said the one score out, because I've been tossing that around too. Cody Parkey, he's their kicker, and he was kind of up and down with us. I could see that happening. I like that. I would be pretty happy if that happened.
A little like 47-yard attempt at the horn. We're biting our nails. Wide right, Eagles win it.
If that happens, I'm going to be going in next week. By this time next week, I'm going to be like, yeah, man, we're going to beat the Saints. Beat the Saints on the road, going to the Super Bowl. Like, and it took me a while. Like, when I finally gave up on this season, it was when they turn. I've been saying it all year. When we finally give up, that's when they're going to pick it up, and it's exactly what happened. And I'm in, and I'm obviously all on board, but I'm not as confident as last year. Like, I legitimately going in, I was worried about Foles, but the home field and everything, I had more confidence. Yeah. But if we win this game, if you see that magic again, man, like, who knows? Who knows, man? One game at a time. I'm excited to watch us play Sunday. Wish it was Saturday, but
it's Sunday. Well, at least we get to watch the Cowboys lose on Saturday.
That's what I'm going to be doing Saturday night, passionately rooting against the Cowboys.
Yeah. So, all right. So, you want to do like quick predictions for the other games?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the first one, Chargers Ravens. I'm taking the Chargers. I've been pretty high on the Chargers the past couple of years. Like I know you have too. They have a great roster. I think Philip Rivers is too good of a quarterback to not at least make it to a Super Bowl, whether it's this year or before he retires. I think he's going to get there once. So I got the Chargers over the Ravens. I'm taking Houston, Indy. I think is the closest one to call. Indy's been playing so good.
Yeah.
I really can't get around just Deshaun Watson is a playmaker. That pass rush is great, and DeAndre Hopkins. So I've got Houston over Indy, but that is a toss-up, and I know a lot of people picking the Colts. Yeah. And then I'm picking the Seahawks over the Cowboys because I don't think the Cowboys are that good of a football team.
Dude, I did a show with they're called the Sports Fury on YouTube. Three of them picked the Cowboys. I was the only one that picked the Seahawks.
The Seahawks are playing good football down the stretch, man, and like they, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, like they've been there, done that. So
Yeah.
me, and I guess the last time these two teams played, or the only time they played in the playoffs, I'm sure you remember what happened in that game.
Oh, I remember.
You see Stephen A was on TV holding it up. The picture of Romo dropping the ball.
I love him.
Yeah, but I love how he hates on Dallas. But what else you got picks wise?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I got. Dude, this is going to be a very interesting postseason
I
because
agree.
I feel like the teams at the top are starting to falter, and that's why I feel like the Eagles actually have kind of a chance at this thing because they're red hot right now. They're red hot, and these other teams really aren't. I mean, even the AFC side. I mean, the Chiefs, they've got 4 losses now all of a sudden.
AFC is wide open.
Yeah.
AFC is wide open. My actual like Super Bowl prediction that I've been going with is Chargers Saints.
Yeah.
And I have Breeze winning it and riding off into the sunset.
I think it's going to be either Chargers or Patriots.
Yeah, and the Patriots, it's like I can still see them getting there again.
I see it. I see it because everyone's counting them out right now.
Yup, I agree. And the last game of the year where they kind of, it was like, obviously they played the Jets, but they still had something to play for. They won 38-3. So like they looked a lot better. And I think Tom Brady wants one more. I think if you look at it from his perspective, he's had an up and down year. He's been getting hit a lot more. So he can't play forever. If they get there, man, one game in them, I'd probably have to pick them because that's how I kind of see it ending for him. But my prediction now is Chargers, Saints, just because of my thing with Rivers. And I think the Chargers have the best, most complete roster in the AFC.
I would agree with that. I would say that roster-wise, they're the best team in the AFC. But they have to go on the road, and that's what sucks.
They have to go on the road, and there's just always something with the Chargers and not getting on the playoffs. But it's Anthony Lynn, man. He's got him playing good. So
yeah, for sure. I think next week's game in New Orleans is your
winner of that.
I think Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. If we beat the Bears, I just picked the Saints. So if we beat the Saints, I said it too. We're winning it again. So I agree with you.
Yeah,
either the Saints or the Eagles. So that's how I see it. God, if that happens, man.
if it happens again, Armageddon.
I just was saying at work, I'm like, well, at least I'm not going to, like before, made the playoffs, I was like, well, at least I'm not going to have to use all these days off this year on a freaking Super Bowl run. Here we go again.
Here we go, baby. It's dude. Well, we'll see. All right, you got any final thoughts? You good?
All I got is EAGLES. Let's go Eagles, baby. We got to get it done. Step 1 of repeat season right now.
There it is. All right, that's James Worthington. I'm Adrian Fedke. We're out of here. Enjoy the game. Peace.